One of the basic tenets of any training or educational program is that what has been learned is something that participants can use after the program is completed. When we talk about the transfer of learning, we're usually referring to an academic or corporate training program. Learning, as defined by the Oxford Dictionary, is the acquisition of knowledge or skills through experience, study, or being taught. Learning can happen anytime or anywhere, at home, in classrooms, conference rooms, church, community centers, retailers, online, and outdoors. It can happen synchronously, in real time, at the same time, or asynchronously, at staggered times and not together in real time. Learning doesn't just happen through osmosis. Learning outcomes, the competencies that include application and creation of knowledge, along with the development of important skills and dispositions, is deliberate. Instructional designers, program planners, facilitators, trainers, educators, whatever title you go by, has to systematically plan for how participants will integrate and apply the information learned back into their personal work and our public lives. My name is Jennifer Mitchell-Early. I help individuals and teams achieve organizational and personal success by providing customized training, resources, tips, and tools to help you pursue purpose and accomplish your goals. If you're looking to grow and evolve personally and professionally, be sure to subscribe and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I upload new content. The transfer of learning is the effective application of information, strategies, skills, and behaviors to a new situation or context as a result of attending an educational or training program. The transfer of learning is centered on helping people make changes in themselves, other people, practices, processes, organizations, or society. The transfer of learning, also referred to as the transfer of training, is vital to the success of any program, ensuring that participants apply what they have learned as a result of training. It's not a passive process, but an active engagement that requires careful planning by the instructional designer, trainer, or educator. It's our job to help participants create a through line from their training back to their professional or personal endeavors. However, this through line doesn't always occur, as participants don't always apply what they've learned for a variety of reasons, including but not limited to lack of support from coworkers and managers, difficulties with the task itself, time constraints, and outdated or otherwise inferior systems, equipment, or processes. Take, for example, the following scenario. Imagine that you are a training specialist that has designed and delivered a 2-day customer service training program for frontline employees. The training program focuses on customer interactions, empathy, dealing with irate customers, and problem solving. The training program is interactive and engaging, including class discussions, role-playing activities, and case studies. Employees actively participated, shared their experiences, and seemed eager to practice skills during role plays. At the conclusion of day 1, participants stated that they appreciated the content, your facilitation style, and felt confident they could apply what they learned. On day 2, some employees appeared a little less engaged, with a few expressing some skepticism about the relevance of the content. At the conclusion of training, the smile sheets or level 1 evaluations provided mixed responses. Some employees found the training valuable, while others thought the training missed the mark and didn't address the specific customer service issues that they face every day back on the job. Once the employees returned back to their job, they faced busy shifts, long queues, and time pressure. No one seemed to remember or reference what they learned during training, and the managers prioritized operational efficiency, i.e. call time, over customer service. Despite the training, employees reverted back to old habits and did not apply active listening skills, empathy, or conflict resolution skills during their calls. During the post-training analysis, you surmise that the transfer of learning failed because there were no follow-up sessions or ongoing support, that customer service was not prioritized in the organizational culture, leaving employees to struggle to implement new skills at the risk of being on calls longer, and managers didn't track progress. As a result, customer complaints remained high, the organization missed an opportunity to improve service quality, and the transfer of learning failed. In this example, despite a well-designed training event, the lack of ongoing reinforcement, organizational support, and alignment with daily work realities hindered the transfer of learning. Barriers to the transfer of learning don't just occur when a participant attempts to apply new knowledge and skills in the workplace. They can occur before, during, and after an educational or training program. The transfer of learning can be influenced for a number of reasons. In our example, the perception of the program content value and the absence of follow-up were barriers to the transfer of learning. Other barriers to the transfer of learning can include participants. Participants bring a set of personal characteristics, experiences, and attitudes and values to educational programs. These influence both what they learn and whether they can and want to apply that which they have learned to their personal, work, and or public lives. Barriers may include participants that don't possess the requisite knowledge or experience, don't have the time to incorporate what they've learned into what they do, or are not interested in making changes. Design and execution. Instructional designers and program planners need to include the development of transfer of learning strategies as a part of the design process. These strategies can be implemented before, during, and after the program has been completed, also known as the levels of evaluation. Barriers may include lack of emphasis on application in terms of instructional methods, no follow-up strategies, or unrealistic transfer of learning strategies. Content. The knowledge, skills, and or attitudes, values that are addressed through the course activities constitute the content. Participants may or may not learn this material either because they choose not to, or because the facilitator or instructor did not teach what they said they would, or both. Barriers may include the disconnect between what participants learn in training and what they are expected to do on the job, ineffective or inadequate training methods that are not relevant or aligned with job tasks or goals, or a training environment that is unrealistic as compared to the work environment. And change is required to apply learning. The nature of the change is required in people, professionals, practices, processes, organizations, communities, and or society to apply the learning describes the scope, depth, and enduring consequences of those changes. It also takes into account the complexity of the change process and who is responsible for making the changes. Barriers may include resistance to technology, fear of failure or trying something new, pre-existing beliefs that may strongly hinder adoption, or lack of being able to see the big picture. Organizational context. The organizational context consists of the people, structure, and cultural environment of an organization, and it either supports or inhibits the transfer of learning. The context includes the value the organization places on continuous learning and development, and the concrete support it gives to educational programs. Barriers may include lack of proper guidance, support, or recognition of training or educational goals or initiatives, lack of flexibility or adaptability to new processes and protocols, or cultural values, norms, and practices that are contrary to training or educational objectives. Finally, community societal factors. The societal, economic, and political conditions that exist in a specific community or society in general also play a role. This factor includes support by key leaders and groups in the community, region, or international arena. Barriers may include peer pressure and family background, ethical concerns, key stakeholders who are openly hostile, or societal norms that are not supportive of changes. Not all of these factors come into play for every educational program, but it's safe to say that the more complex the program's scope and goals, the larger the number of people affected, the greater the magnitude of the changes, and the less control over organizational and societal forces, the more difficult the transfer of learning process. For these reasons, it's important to consider planning for the transfer of learning an integral part of the program design process. Because effective training extends well beyond the classroom, it requires a holistic approach that considers pre-training, during training, and post-training elements. If you found this video worthwhile, please hit the like button, a thumbs up, and share it with someone who may benefit from it. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I upload new content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.